Jonathan.
Jonathan. We're a handyman business here, but we specialize in custom woodwork and carpentry. And we have kind of a different take on this to avoid the hair dyeing your cats. I actually got involved in all of this from the other side of things, and I was actually trying to protect my cat from wildlife. So I didn't want her to be an outdoor cat because I was so worried about her getting snatched up by a cougar or a coyote. So, but I felt so guilty about her being cooped up inside all the time. So I started looking into ways that I could enrich her life, but keep her safe. So as I was looking into that, I learned that it wasn't just about protecting her, it was also about protecting wildlife, because as Spencer just mentioned, that cats actually have a pretty big impact on wildlife. So the Portland Audubon Society says that cats are the #1 reason for the injuries to wildlife that they take on. They account for 40% of the injuries that they care for. And of that, only 16% of them will survive. So, and on a nationwide level, the latest thing that I read was upwards of like 2-point-something billion, I think, birds that cats kill a year. So it's a pretty significant impact they have. So what's the solution? How do you give your cat enrichment but reduce their impact on wildlife? Well, we came up with catios. So my husband knew that I had been looking for ways to protect our cat, and I came home one day to a surprise. He had just whipped up this outdoor enclosure for her. So it was totally cool. She spent hours in this thing at a time. She would just sunbathe out there. So inspired by that, we decided that we would expand on that and build a huge outdoor enclosure for our feral cats. So outing myself as an official crazy cat lady, we've got our indoor cat, but we also have a bunch of feral cats that we ended up with. That's for another workshop.
About a half a dozen that we brought over.
Yeah.
We used to live in Oregon City, and that's where we had a large yard. And basically the catio that I put together, the initial one, and we didn't invent the concept, and it's kind of a big thing in Portland because you'll see in the newspapers every few months they run a story about the catios and the neat pictography and all kinds of really creative designs. And basically I got tired of having to deal with the injured squirrels and the injured birds in our own backyard, because the home that we moved into in Oregon City, unbeknownst to us when we moved in, there was already a large feral population. I guess probably up to 24 cats at one time. One particular elderly couple down the block would feed them nonstop, and it just propagated the problem over and over. They'd make their way down to our house and kind of hung out there and hung out with our cats, and again, we saw them just kind of decimating our own little local population of birds and squirrels. Got tired of that, and that's kind of what prompted us to build the catios.
Yeah, so
First one.
of that huge population, there was 4 in particular that ended up on our property that were there all the time, so we got suckered into taking them. So when we moved over here, we brought those cats. So after he built the one catio for our cat, we were like, we're gonna do it for our cats, keep them, all our feral cats, keep them safe, reduce their impact on wildlife. So he pretty much, he built, I kind of held his hammer and stuff for him. He built a really big enclosure for the feral cats, and it ended up super cool. We have little trees for them to climb on and perches and things like that. So I was so excited by it that I of course posted pictures all over Facebook, and I had so much feedback on that people were asking can Jonathan build me one for my cats? So we've added that to our service offering, and it's kind of taken off, and now it's sort of our specialty. It's definitely our favorite project to take on. So so the ones that we built for our feral cats, it's ridiculous, ginormous. It's half of our yard.
1,800 square feet or so.
Yeah, which is not necessary for your average house cat.
Yeah, these are a typical size 8 by 6, 50 square feet.
Yeah, and that's enough space for an indoor cat to go out and walk around and climb up the perches and things like that. But of course, if you have the space and you want a ginormous one, we can do that too. But this is your average size. We've got the little staircase up the middle, and we make them out of pressure-treated wood and PVC-coated wire fencing. So they're weatherproof, they're durable, and most importantly,
Yeah, it's fun to,
staircases.
it's fun to see cats that have been, homebound their whole lives creep out the first couple times. And,
Yeah.
like this one, for instance, we built a bridge from the kitchen catio, and the ones, cats had never been outside, so they creep out really apprehensively. But once they get used to it, they love climbing up and down, and it just really improves their quality of life and protects the wildlife in the backyards.
One of our customers. And this particular one is actually silver. It's not the PVC coated wire, just because this client, it was their preference and wanted silver, but you can use whatever. We prefer the black PVC coated, but there's green, it's whatever you want. And we can do any size. Here's a little bit bigger one. This one's about a 6x8. If you don't have a huge yard, we can make them smaller than that.
Window mounted ones,
Yeah,
we have
window.
small little window mounted, just something to get your cat outside, get some fresh air, and they like to lounge in the sun.
And this is ours and our big gigantic feral one. So we kind of built it around our fence. So we were able to utilize the trees in our yard. We actually enclosed the trees. So we've got perches on there for them. This is our big gigantic one. And then this is kind of a quick makeshift tunnel he built, but we can do tunnels also. So like, if you don't want a catio like right on your house, you'd rather have it like at the end of your yard, we can do like he did for our cat. This is our house cat. And he built this tunnel for her, so she can go all the way out to the end of the yard where we've got the big enclosure, and she goes and hangs out with the feral cats. So, and then this is our enclosure. I think that might be it. Yeah. So, if you are interested or you know anyone who is, what we do is we'll come out to your house, no cost to you, and we'll look at your space and see what size and options would work for you, take some measurements, and then we can provide you with a price quote. So that's kind of how we do it. And another bonus about having a catio is we have learned that when you have one, and you don't have your cats running around your yard, you get so many more birds in your yard. It's so cool. We've, on top of being crazy cat lady, now we're both kind of like bird nerds, because we will sit there and just watch the birds forever. We have so many birds in our yard now that we didn't used to have, especially the robins. There's so many robins in the yard. So that's just a bonus. So catios, in my opinion, are a win-win. They're a win for the birds, your cats. You keep them safe. Cats will live 2 to 3 times longer than outdoor roaming cats. So it's a win-win for everybody. So any catio questions?